Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. I just want to say a big thank you to all my lovely subscribers. As you all know, I've hit 30,000 subscribers, and just a heads up to you guys that are watching now, I will be doing a giveaway sometime this month. Not sure how or when, but I'm just gathering some lovely little bits and pieces up at the moment. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please do subscribe, and then you can be part of the giveaway. So that will be coming soon this month, so that's exciting. So today I thought we could just make some sort of like bit of a mixed media hearty theme today. So it's saying it's the beginning of February. I thought I'd do a couple of little hearty projects. And this one is sort of like a bit of mixed media ephemera. So I've done an envelope and I've done some tags. Now this isn't sort of like a lovey-dovey one, because these ones can actually go in any sort of journal, because they're just sort of like a bit of mixed media, lots of fun, quite simple to do. This is just a lovely heart, and this one just says kindness. I've got on this one which just says grateful, and this is just a little bit of stamping. I'll show you how to make a little template in a minute. This one says dream, this one is believe, and I've got encourage on this one. So these are really nice to go in any sort of like general journal. It doesn't have to be sort of like a Valentine one, and I think they're really lovely. Now the first thing that I did, now these are the tags that I'm going to be using. Now these are just tags that I've had when I was testing out my Tim Holtz, the distress oxide sprays. Now I was just having a play the other day, so I thought what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these. It's quite simple. I've just sprayed some of the spray onto my glass mat and just sort of like mopped it up really with some couple of different colours on there. Now I think I used tattered rose, I've used the weathered wood, frayed burlap, and I believe not the ground espresso, I don't think it was that one, I think it was the tea dye. So they're the sort of colours that I used on the background, but again you can sort of like use anything, but I wanted to just use up these tags that I'd already made, so they don't sort of like go to waste. And that one is one that I just sort of like sprayed on it. Okay, so let's just pop these to the side. Up here, this is just a lovely envelope, just a normal envelope that I tea stained, and I've just done exactly the same that I would have done on the little tags. Now I've made some little template, really it's sort of, well, it's just like a little stencil really, like that. And what I did, I popped it through my die cutting machine and cut out a heart, but the die cut that I had was this one, which is from Sizzix. Now I hope you can see that, but it's got 3 hearts on it. So all as it says on there is Sizzix and hearts. So these are quite old, and it's got 3 different size hearts on it. I completely forgot that I do have some other heart dies, but I used this one, and I just made my life a little bit more difficult, because what I did, I cut it out with a little bit of acetate, and of course you've got the other dies here that I took the shape on as well. So I've just gone around it with a bit of paper, a bit of sticky tape, and made myself a little stencil like that. So it's really simple. So probably lots of you have got some stencils that you can use as well, but if you don't, you can make your own, because let me get a piece of paper if I can find one. Okay, let me just use a piece of white paper, because all as you would do, I hope this doesn't go blurry on here, fold it in half, just fold a little section down. Let me get my scissors, let me just cut a section off. So just get a piece of paper and fold it in half, and then all as you want to do is cut out a heart, half a heart, just like that. Try and cut it out sort of like in the middle of it, like that, so you've got a heart, and then that's what you can use as your die, or as your stencil I mean. So it's quite simple, and then you can make them as big or as small as you like, so that's quite a simple way of doing it. Okay, so what I've done with these ones, I've got 2 different sizes here. Right, I'm going to take one of the tags. Now these are just, I've just printed these on some tea stain. It's a little bit thicker. I think it's probably about 180 or maybe 200 gram card that I got. It didn't actually say because I bought it sort of like individually. So I'm just going to pop that on roughly sort of like in the middle of it. Now I have got here, I have got some Distress Oxide in the Candied Apple, and I've also got the Ground Espresso, and I've got my little one of the Walnut Stain on there. So they're the ones that I was using, and I've got my little dubbers and this lovely little thing here. So what I thought I would do, I'll do a little sort of, actually I'm going to do some brown over the top first, brown underneath. So just taking a little dobber, pop that so it's sort of in the middle, and just go round. Let me just take a little bit of that off, it's a bit dark. Just go round the outer line of it, just like that. Leave the sort of like little sort of middly bit. Just go round so you've got a beautiful heart like that. I'm going to pop it back over the top. I'm just going to take a little bit of the Candied Apple, make sure we're on this straight, and just a little bit of red in there, just a tiny bit, just like that. So I think that looks really, really lovely. So again, you don't have to use the red if you don't want to, but I'm going to add a little bit just to the outside, just to sort of like bring it all together, just like that. So that looks really nice. Okay, so that can sit there like that. Now on these ones here, I've stamped in between, in the actual heart. So how I did that, I popped the template back over the top. I've got some stays on here. Let me just put my lids back on. I've got my grungy dirty old text, well it's sort of like French text stamp, but I'd also use some of these grungy ones that I used before, which are quite nice. But I'm going to just use a little bit of the stays on, a little bit of the text I will do. I'm going to pop it this way because that's easier for me to stamp. So I'm in the right direction, and then just stamp over the top. So that means you don't go outside of the heart, you stay within the heart shape. Just a little bit there, and there you go. So you've got the lovely stamping inside the heart. So that's quite simple. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just add just a little bit of the stamping around the outside, just like that, not too much. So use whatever stamps you've got. Now this one I'm going to use, this one has got sort of like, probably see it better from the actual picture on here. It's got like little lines around the outside. Now this is what I used on here, just on the outside, just to give it sort of like a little border. And I used this, so with some stays on. But again, if you don't have anything like this, because look, it just gives you, if you just put the ink on that little bit, just gives you that edge. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, because obviously we all don't have the same stamps. I've just used my little distress ink. I've inked it on the bottom of the actual ink, and then I've just gone around the outside. So that will just give you this same sort of look, which I think is great. So you can just go around and edge your stamp just like this. And then what I also did, I just sort of like stamped a few lines, and also the corner bit, if you ink that up, you can just give yourself a little corner just like that. And the other one, let's go around this way, just stick it, then you've got your little corner. So there's all sorts of things that you must have in your craft room lying around that we can use without having to buy too much. So look, you can just have some nice edges and little shapes on there, but remember to sort of wipe it off. I've also used the end of my dauber as well, just to give you the little round circles, just like that, which I think looks a bit like noughts and crosses on there. Just a few. So there we go, simple. Just take that off. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get one of my black pigment liners pens. I'm just going to go round the outside of this. Oops. Just go outline your heart. Just like that. I think this looks really nice, and they're really simple to do. Like that. So we've outlined the heart, lovely. Now I've also got a white pen, which is just this white pigment ink, which is a uni-ball pen, and I've just sort of like go around there so it just shows you the little shiny bits. Just do a few little marks around it, just like you would in any sort of like little bit of mixed media that you've got, that you do, not that you've got, just like this, around the top of it here. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do, I had some book paper here as well, which I'm going to add onto here. I've got some little scrap pieces here, so I'm going to use a little bit of this. So I'm just going to stick that on here, just to give another little element on there. Just ink around the edges. Now you do this exactly the same to this as onto an envelope, or to any sort of like journal card, whatever you'd like to do to make your ephemera, but you do it exactly the same sort of way, but like this, but just on the front of an envelope, just like that. Just ink around the edges like that. Now I'm going to use a little, whoopsie daisy, a little bit of glue stick just to stick these down. Put that on there. And I think I will just pop this one just up the top there, which I think looks good. Let's just go around this a little bit with just a little bit of black like that. Now I'm going to go over them. I'm going to take my stays on again. I'm just going to take the little dauber here, just go over the little bit of book paper there. And also, where's my ink gone? What did I do with that? There we are. Just use the edge of that just to go over it, just so it's sort of like, so it doesn't look like it's sort of like sat on the top. There we go. So I think that is looking really nice. Now what I've also done on here, I've just added, it's just a little bit of texture. So this is just the relief paste on here, so you can just feel it on there. So I've just used this. You don't have to use this, but I've just got a little bit, just take a little bit and then just wipe it over, just so it gives it a little bit of texture on your tag, just like that. You only need a little bit. And then I got, get something sharp and just make some like marks in it. Don't have to, but I think it just sort of like adds nice little bit of texture to your project, just like that. I think that looks really nice. So that's how simple these are to do, because a lot of things look really difficult, but once you take one step at a time, I think it looks really nice. They're quite simple to do. So let's just get rid of that, and that's basically it. And I think that looks really nice. I'm just going to go over just a little bit more with the white pen, if it will work. My white pen has decided not to work. There we go. Just over there, just a little bit. I think that looks really nice. So simple to do. Oopsie daisy. What I'm going to do now, because it's a little bit sort of like flimsy, I've backed it onto just a little bit of tea stain paper. So I'm going to glue this down like this. Now, probably not a good idea to have wet on the other side, but I'll redo that in a minute. Should have stuck this on first, really. Just go over that wet again. And then chop this out, just cut it out, and then you can either sew it around it or just leave it, but I will sew around it when it's dry. And it's just so super easy to do, and I think they look really lovely in any journal. Now what have we got? I've got a little word here that says hope, so let's just cut this one out. Again, you can have any words you want on it, anything you like, but I didn't want mine too sort of lovey-dovey. I wanted them to be able to be used in different journals. So just a little bit of inking around the outside, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to just pop that just there, I think. And I think that looks really nice. Let's just go around it a little bit. Just like that. And there we go, guys. How simple was that? Now, I think I'll pop a little eyelet in the top. Let's just open this up. Pop a little hole in here. Out the middle, I think. Take an eyelet. Now I've got these lovely sort of like gorgeous sort of colour ones. They've got a red tint to them, which I think looks really nice. Make sure we got this up the right way. And there we go, absolutely perfect, and I think that's really nice, and they don't take very long to do either. So you could do a few of these, get them ready, pop them in your stash, or if you are making a lovely Valentine journal, you can make them a little bit more sort of like have a different word on there, like love or something like that. But I think they just look really lovely. These ones I've just popped a little bit of seam binding in there with a little bow. This one has a little bit of cheesecloth, so they make quite nice little grungy ones. That's got a bit of cheesecloth. That's got a bit of sort of like blacky greeny grey seam binding in it. So we could probably pop a little bit of grungy cheesecloth in this one, I think. Pop that back in there. Crunch this up, pop this through. You could even use sort of like bits of string in here as well. Pop that in there. And we've got a nice grungy old mixed media tag. And there we go. There we go, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a go. I think they are really nice and they are not too difficult. So if you're new to doing sort of like mixed media bits, this is a really good way to start off. You just need sort of like some card, bit of ink, a few of your little scrap bits of paper will do as well. And I think they look really, really nice. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are still all safe and well. And thank you very much, and I will see you all very soon. All right, guys, take care. Bye bye.